Now, find a new rival.
So-called black women online all the time get up, and I guess that's supposed to be do something about it. At this point, you are far behind Tommy Sotomayor with the so-called black women bashing thing yet again. This is the type of ish that irritates me. If we continue to make videos about each other and put one another down, we are doing the white man's and other groups of people's jobs for them. I really used to like SEIJIHITO's channel. However, as of late, I haven't been over here because he's turning into Tommy Sotomayor and somebody else. This is my thing. Like I've stated before, if you don't like any of my content or anything like that, you can just promptly leave. I don't need you here. Like, I don't know if people really like realize that. That's how much I don't care. If you're here or not here, because my main focus is those who are actually here. Now, if you decide to stay here and be stupid, I'm going to showcase your stupidity directly for the world to see and happen to make some money directly off of that video by way off of you and your free comment. So thank you. And the other thing is that is pretty interesting, right? Is the fact that you have individuals like this that will decide that they don't like somebody's content, but yet they'll still name drop them in the comments. If you don't care about somebody's content, you don't care about their opinion and who they are, then why would you still focus on them? Why would you still, if you don't like Tommy Sotomayor for whatever reason, why would you still focus on him? Why would you still name drop him, giving him energy that you clearly stated that you don't want to give him from the get-go? Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. A lot of people are pretty much backwards out here. People will literally complain about a fast food chain and complain about their money getting stolen and their orders always being wrong and different things like that, but then still continue to patronize that same establishment Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I guess they expect that because they complain that things will automatically change and get better, even though throughout those 7 days yet again the same events still occurred. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, you have a lot of backwards people directly out there. And then, the most interesting thing, like I stated before, like a broken record, I can't even get my words right now, right? Like a broken record. Women like this are the main ones that will only hear what I say about black women, but won't listen to anything that I have to say about black men. And I literally did both of that in the same video, and all they focus on is black women, black women, black women, black women, black women, black women, black women. Because literally for 10 minutes, I guess that's all I was saying. I was literally all 10 minutes is solely black women. It wasn't black women, it wasn't black men, and it wasn't the community. It wasn't none of those three areas that I basically touched on. It was just 100% black women. Like I said, people will only show up to videos just so that they can get offended and say something. People will only pay attention to videos that they feel right is negatively coming at them or talking at them, or it's in their direction, right? And people will only come to videos where they feel like they got a leg to stand on so that they can somehow, some way bash or down talk black men. Like I said before, even if, going back to the video, even if you take the one guy that was in there that decided to interact throughout the whole situation, if you take him directly out of the video, the main thing is that you have black women sitting up here acting like what, wild boars, just doing whatever they want to sit up here and do in front of a whole crowd of people, knowing the fact that in 2022 everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a computer directly in their hand, everybody has a social media platform. Anything that you do is going to go directly up there towards social media. So that means if any of these women got kids, guess what? Throughout those years, somebody's going to end up seeing this video of their mom sitting up there doing this. Guess what? That means that these black women who are acting ratchet, who are acting so hood and thuggery, guess what? If they try to sit up there and go for a job, and somebody at their job just so happens to see this video and they were about to get that job, guess what? They're not going to have that job, because that job is going to see them as a liability. So then they're going to have to sit up there and try to apply for job after job after job after job and just hope that nobody there actually really pays attention to social media. They would have to hope that nobody there actually knows that this video is viral. They would have to hope that nobody there actually knows who the people are in this video and then decides to show this or brings this to whoever is the hiring agent or who is whoever is on the upper level of that business. Like I said, all this video is basically showing is how any and all of these black women here would get disqualified from a job, and also a respectable man that would actually want to settle down, marry them, be a husband, right, and be a lifetime partner. That's all this is. That's all this is. And the second part that they're showing off is for all of the guys, right, that are detrimental to women, right, that are negative to women, those are the type of guys that they're going to attract, because no guy that is actually worth his salt is going to sit up there and invest time and energy and love into a woman like that, because he's not going to get anything out of that but problems and chaos. That's it. And that's bars. But as always, a very excellent and great job, just like the rest who are going to continuously show up on that video and decide to deflect, from the problem that I talked about in that video, the many problems that I talked about in that video. And, great job with the body blocking, right, for those black women that are there. That obviously are acting besides themselves and decided to fight for nonsensical reasons, pulling each other across that floor by their hair. Like I said, you can't tell nobody nothing. Like I said, black men at the end of the day, even if you got a platform or not, even if you are for black people or not, let this be example that black men cannot tell black women anything. Just let that be a clear-cut example. That's all I'm saying. So before we get started, I know some people like, yo, Seiji, like, why you spend so much time on these videos? Like, why you give so much time? Like, we got other, more meaningful topics that we need to talk about versus giving these clowns, some type of light. Well, like I said before, we have a multitude of people in the community that can clearly focus on a multitude of things, right? If people feel like this is not an important topic or something that they are not interested in, there are clearly other platforms and other individuals directly out here who are talking about the subjects and the topics that you would actually like to see and hear about on an everyday basis. I myself have covered quite a variety of topics, but like I stated before, when I cover those topics, black people don't like really rolling up to those topics and or those videos. So I decided to basically do the stuff that I technically want to do on my leisure, on my time, and on my channel, because hey, it's fun for me. Like I said, what's fun for me might not be entertaining to you. So this might be the point in time that you might not want to look at a 25-minute video of me just responding back to comments and talking at this moment in time, because it's not a serious topic. So this is why I'm putting this at the very front of the video, so you don't really waste that much, in a sense of your time. So you've been warned. All right, I want to give a shout out to this brother right here, who stated that the translation that you were, the first, initial response to my video that you were able to see. This is his response to that individual. He stated that the person said that I'm only upset because Seiji was only talking about black women. Anyone else is fair game, but don't dare criticize us. Looking forward to seeing your comment dissected very soon. See, he already knew what was going to happen as soon as he saw the comment directly up there, and I'm pretty sure everybody else, the people, it was like 13 responses directly under there at that moment in time, and people already knew what it was. And shout out to some of the people that's down there spitting facts, giving statistics, giving actual numbers. But like I said, people like her, they don't want to listen to that. All they want to do is simply attack and come after black men, and only want to list them as the causation and the main problem and the source of everything negative in the black community. People, I just want y'all to understand that this is what it looks like when a person, you know, basically is telling you that they don't care about black women without really telling you that they don't care about black women. This is what that looks like, right? She said that girl fights are what you want to address. All of these black men taking the lives of each other and everyone. Yes, let's talk about drunks fighting. See how, at first, you know, it was technically maybe you could kind of look at it as something, but she wanted to say girl fights, right? She didn't want to say black women fighting because this is what is taking place. We visibly see all black people there, right? And the main people on the stage fighting are who? Black women dressed up who left their house to look nice just to come to an establishment to what? Girl fight, right? That was a song back in the early 2000s. I think, what was it? Sierra Little John. It's about to be a what? Girl fight, you know? And that was a hype song, right? And then she wanted to sit up there and now actually give a listing, right? She wanted to give a branding to something that is criminal, right? That people can monetize and make money off of. What did she do, folks? She said black men. But notice how black women is missing directly out of the whole statement, right? And then she was like, yes, let's talk about drunks fighting. So now it went to girls fighting, right? Which is a generalization, which means that anybody could be out there fighting. We don't know who it is. We don't know the color of the person. We cannot even determine that. But what we can determine is that what? Black men are criminals. They're violent. They're savages. They're this, they're that, right? That's basically what she's saying, all in that middle part. And then she wanted to further generalize it even broader so that black women couldn't even get touched in this. She said drunks fighting. I've seen drunks fight. And usually when it's drunks fighting, it's men who are drunkards, who are winos, who are alcoholics, who are fighting out there over nonsensical nonsense. But that's not what we're talking about here. And I'm pretty sure, more than likely, these women are not even drunk. But yet you gave them a validation. You gave them a way to excuse the type of behavior by calling them drunkards fighting. Wow, look at that. You can't even sit up there and look at some evidence and be like, yeah, that's jacked up. Yeah, this is black women doing this. Nah, you want to sit up there and deflect. You deflected a multitude of times. You might as well be Neo at this moment in time. That's crazy. That's crazy, the amount of deflection just in this small bit of words. Wow. That's crazy. But yet you're trying to make it seem like you actually care about black women. Really? And then later on in the comment section, when you had somebody trying to give you actual statistics, you said that you weren't going to read that. You didn't want to acknowledge that. So what you're saying is, right, you want to acknowledge all of the other garbage that people give you that's negatively pointed towards black men. But when actual statistics, actual numbers is coming from, in a sense, a reliable source, or at least a source that everybody uses, right, which is the FBI, you're like, no, I'm not, I don't even care about that. It doesn't even matter. Wow. But yet you're the one that actually asks for this information because you're a grown adult with a cell phone in your hand responding to comments, but you can't sit up there and be adult enough to do your own research to get the real numbers and statistics. Wow. Oh, that's right. You can't do that because it hurts your narrative, which is always blaming black men at the drop of a hat. Because always in your mind, because of the men that you selectively chose. Matter of fact, I don't even know if you're realistically black or not, but I'm just going to go with the instance of how you're sitting up here talking, running your mouth, that you must be some type of angry black woman, right? And because of the negative experiences that you've decided to have with the selective picking and choosing of wrong black men that you decided to lay up with and have in your life, this is why you got your mouth running sideways right now underneath this video. When the funniest thing is, you're saying that I'm only focusing on drunkards fighting. I focused on both the women there, I focused on the men there in two different aspects, and then I focused on this as a grouping community type of thing. But I can clearly tell where your listening skills rely. You solely just come to videos that you know that you're going to get offended by, just so you can get offended, and then you can get angry enough and get all of that energy and get riled up just so you can leave the comment that you want to sit up there and leave. Because when I make videos that showcase the crimes that black women do, and it has nothing to do with a black man, you're nowhere to be found. but yet your cohorts will sit up there and show up and still deflect. So I guess there's no actual need for you because people are still doing the job that you're doing at this current moment in time, because you're actually worthless at this moment in time. Because all you can consistently do throughout your life is whenever something goes wrong, a black man did it. Your nail breaks, a black man did it. Your hair is falling apart, a black man did it. You got into a car crash, a black man did it. My bank account is empty because I don't know anything about financial literacy and I just sit up there and have terrible spending habits. A black man did it. I'm not on time for my bills. A black man did it. Right? Or let's put it like this. Um, a guy that I'm interested in, right, is interested in another woman. A black man did it. That's gonna be you. That's gonna be you. So that means that any point in time that you might have a fiance, a boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, if he just so happens to be interested in another woman, guess what? You're gonna blame black man for it. That's how simple you are. That's how simple your comment is at this moment in time, because you have that simple mind and simple type of thinking where you can't even acknowledge the fact that you have black women out here in the community doing crimes, doing terrible acts. In a lot of cases, they're actually doing way worse than the stories that I've read about black men. And they're doing those things to other black women. Craziness, ain't it? Craziness, ain't it? But when you hear the statistics, when people always want to, like you, want to bring up, oh, black women are sitting up there dying every, 5 seconds due to a black man. They're dying every 1 second, right? Just black women are just getting annihilated out here every single day of every single moment of every single hour. Like, realistically, with the numbers that I always hear, black women should not even be in existence at all. There shouldn't even really be a population of black women at all. The way that I keep sitting up there hearing it, the way that people keep talking about it, it should not be a population of black women at all. You know what has the least population out here? Black men. Can you tell by those numbers? Yes. Go by the numbers of the guys that usually end up in jail or in prison or also dead. And then look at those numbers and then compare those numbers to what we have with the black male population out here. You can clearly see a decline. You can clearly see where the other portion of the black men reside at this moment in time. But every time I hear these numbers, I'm like, okay, well, if the numbers are in a sense reflective with black men when it comes to, jail and prison and being dead versus the population of what we actually have that we can see out here, all right, if in a sense that makes sense, then these numbers that people are saying should always make sense as well when it comes to black women. Like, y'all populations, like I said before, should be drastically declining. Drastically declining. But that is not actually the case. And then on top of with those numbers, y'all don't like to mention the fact that y'all have black women committing crimes against other black women, that you have women on women relationships that commit crimes against each other, that you have black mothers taking the lives of their black children as well, because 9 times out of 10, women are the sole custodial parents when it comes to the ownership of their children, and they're usually the main ones causing the utmost harm and damage to their children because they are the president and they are the GM. And we all know at the end of the day, you can't sit up there and tell a black woman how to do anything, because she's not going to sit up there and listen to anything a black man has to say, because they're going to deflect and say, well, whatever you're saying, but black men need to go over there and fix their yard before they tell black women to do anything out here. All right, I'm not even gonna read the comment. I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm going to be honest with you 100%. And this is 100%. Like, nobody, like I said, nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody no woman out here and no black woman out here is going to go to the gravesite every day of a black man who risked his life in order to stop a fight that he ended up losing his life for. You're not doing that. That woman is going to move on with her life, get a brand new boyfriend, get a husband, have kids, and grow old. She is not going to sit up here and visit that dude's gravesite every single day. That will be a different type of person. that is rarely born on this planet that would actually take the initiative to actually remember somebody like that. The greater majority, 99.9% of this population is not like that. Like I said, people are selfish out here. Women are not about to sit up there and visit the gravesite. They're not going to sit up there and check on the kids of that man. They're not going to check on the girlfriend, the fiance, or the wife of that man. They're not going to check on the mother, the aunts, the sisters, the best friends. They're not going to check on anybody that is involved with that man who risked his life in order to get her out of a situation. She's not going to sit up there and do it. She's not. And it's not going to be a consistent everyday thing. It's not. And it's not going to be a consistent yearly thing at all. It's not. So, like I said before, for people out here to sit up there and still try to blame black men, in a sense, any which way it goes, like I said, I'll sit up there and check black men. I'll list different things, and I'll also put things in perspective and in reality when it deals with black men intervening into situations like this, because I'm a black man at the end of the day, and I've seen how these things go. Like I said, it's a lot easy, right, for a woman to state what it is that a man should do versus actually living this and seeing this actually transpire. And then also knowing the fact of how ungrateful a lot of women are when you try to interject yourself as a man and stop a fight. They'll start swinging on you. They'll start seeing you as the enemy. It's like, yo, what you doing? Get up off me. Bow, 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 bow. And like, you're caught off guard. You don't even have time to like defend nothing. She's just sitting up there wailing on you so that you can let her go. She'll get in a few extra shots and start bolstering up towards you. And then she'll go right back running over to fight the woman that you just got her off of, just to break up the fight so they can have some space and breathe and some logic can cut through the room of emotion. Like I said before, it's a very detrimental situation. And then that's not even to mention, like I said, that's not even to mention if one man decides to sit up there and do it, you'll have the guys that are actually with that woman, or the guy, he'll sit up there and see that and be like, oh, you ain't about to sit up there and put your hands on no woman while I'm here. And now he want to sit up there and jump in a fight. He want to jump in because he thinks that automatically he sees a man, quote unquote, putting his hands, which is breaking up the fight, trying to pull them away, not swinging or anything like that, trying to pull them away and carry somebody off all the way to the other side. Now he want to bolster up and try to get all macho, try to act all manly, like I'm the biggest dude in the room. Watch, I'm Hercules, watch me work. And now he want to sit up there and start trying to do some stuff. And oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Then after the fact of that taking place, then it's going to be outside. Right? So you had the women fighting inside, and then you had the other man that was there, and then he's trying to fight the other dude because he's trying to break up the fight. So now that dude is going to still feel a certain type of way, whether he won or lost, and he's going to be waiting outside for that dude. And there's a multitude of options that can sit up there and take place that are detrimental, that's going to sit up there and take place and happen to that guy that just tried to do the right thing. Like I said, there are too many negatives, realistically, for black men when it comes to trying to do the right thing and stop fights like this. There are too many negatives versus positives, and that's just not right. If it ain't matching up, if the numbers don't add up, you stay up out of it. And I'm just being real. Because at the end of the day, these are grown women who are grown adults who more than likely have kids or who are taking care of kids, and yet this is how they sitting up there acting. So if they act like this in a public setting, just think how they act when they're in their own neighborhood. Just think of how they act when they're with friends. Just think of how they act when they're at home. Just think of how they act when they're in front of their kids. Like I said, if people are willing to show you this in public, it's far worse. Far, far, far worse when it comes to them in their own settings where they're ultra comfortable. But like I said, you don't want to focus on none of that. You don't want to focus on the fact that I basically looked at black women, black men in two different aspects, and then the community, and basically wrapped all of that up in a bow. You're just like the other ones that don't want to sit up there and pay attention to nothing. Y'all just want to get mad because y'all hear black women, black women, black women, black women, black women. Y'all just think the whole video for 10 minutes is just solely about black women. I love when people are just so stupid. It just makes my life and my job so much easier. Thank you. Now, this is when I tell y'all this is the stuff that don't make sense with a lot of people, right? Now, remember, this is the same exact person who basically stated that black men are the problem and that we don't need to be having a video out here talking about the drunks fighting and talking about women fighting. Notice everything out of there. Like I told you guys before in the beginning, nothing that she stated said anything about black women. It generalized and made it seem like anybody was out there fighting. It doesn't matter what the color is fighting. These are women out here fighting, right? Just generalize, 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 just so that the blame or the responsibility does not get put on black women, but then made sure to put the blame on somebody, which was black men, by sitting up there saying, but you have all of these black men out here, right, doing all of these crimes, all of these criminal acts, being detrimental to the black community, being this, being that, being supervillains, being the worst of the worst, right? But we're going to sit here and just talk about drunkards fighting. So now magically people care about the black community, right? When obviously in the very first comment that she left, she clearly did not care anything about black women because she didn't even want to address or acknowledge the fact that these are black women sitting up here fighting. So she stated in response to Rise Raider, post the source. It's not hard. FBI.gov. See how easy that was? Or is it Jane Crow? I'm not sure. I don't want to hear about jail-ish. Just stop being illegal. Stop being illegal. What exactly does that mean? Like I said, I don't even know what that means. That's a brand new term. I'm highly confused by that. You can't call indigenous people that are indigenous to a continent illegal. So what exactly are you saying here? Now, if you're trying to say criminal, the main criminal behavior that took place, right? Number one, as I stated before, you have the women that were on the floor showcasing their skills on being able to fight and not correctly fight, but pull hair, push each other around and do windmill hits, right? And then in the other area of criminal behavior was the random black guy that might have been with one of these groups of women who decided to come directly outside and start swinging on other women. But I also went into how men fighting women has been allowed amongst women, especially when it comes to a certain type of man, right, that is consistently around women. Because even while growing up, I've seen those types of men continuously in girl fights and swinging on women, and it's completely fine and dandy. And I never heard outcries from women. I've never seen women try to showcase those videos and talk about how violent those individuals are, and and how detrimental that is, and how that negatively impacts and affects black women. I never hear videos like that, right? But yet, when you can find videos of black men doing the exact same thing, now people want to sit up there and showcase and highlight that. So when you're a straight black man, like I said, in any case, it is wrong. Like I said, I've pointed that out before. But it's just interesting that when it comes to a straight black man and he does this, automatically is going to get condemned, is going to be publicized, is going to be a main talking point. But when it is a man of a different selection, magically women start, they have the bird, the bird cage type of deal, bird box, type of deal where they just can't see anything at that moment in time, which I find to be highly interesting, right? So then she later says, their problem solved. Girl fights aren't black people's top 5 problems or issues. This video is about fighting. Meanwhile, black people have no resources, bottom class, last and owning businesses and land, bad spending and saving habits, and fading away as a race. But yes, let's talk about drunks yet again. Let's talk about drunks in the club fighting. But you bring up Jane Crow as if they should be in jail acting like fools in this video. Um, I'm a little bit highly confused. So you're telling me that the individuals who commit criminal activity that is directly seen on camera for everybody to see, so you're telling me they shouldn't be prosecuted? You're telling me that they shouldn't face repercussions for their actions, so that by them facing repercussions for their actions, they're more than likely not going to commit those same actions because they know how harmful and detrimental that's going to be to their name, and then potentially finding or getting another job, and how society and other individuals are basically going to look at them because they're going to have some type of record now created off of the actions they decided to take at one night. You're telling me that those individuals don't deserve to be in jail and think about specifically what it is that they did? They should just be let free and just go home, and it is what it is. Wow. Okay. All right. And like I said, I was talking about throwing everybody in jail. I was not discriminating. I was talking about throwing everybody in jail. Everybody in jail. But you're like, nah, nobody needs to go to jail. And now magically in this comment, you want to act like you care about the black community. That's crazy. And the funniest thing is, every single thing that you listed right here, I've already talked about. Stats from FBI.gov, I've talked about that quite frequently, especially also when it comes to black men and people wanting to sit up there and bring up the fatherless narrative, how no black men in the black community, or 100% of black men don't want to be fathers. That's basically what it is. That's basically what black women like to say. 100% of black women don't like to be fathers. And I'm like, okay, well, let me bring up these statistics. Let me actually read these statistics directly off to you. Because like I said before, I didn't even know they even keep track of this. And the statistics were actually quite eye-opening. All the stuff that I've ever heard of, in my life, when black women negatively talked about black men not being fathers, I was like, wow. I'm like, somebody been out here lying. So you mean to tell me that the government has the numbers and they put these numbers out here, but yet you magically still have black women going hard and going negative on black men? Why not go negative and hard on those black men that's not doing it? Right? Why not go negative and hard on those specific black men that you decided to sleep with and be with, that created children with, and sit up there and isolate them in that box, instead of, trying to generalize all black men as if the rest of black men need to sit up there and get those dudes in shape? We didn't sit up there and tell those black dudes to sit up there and sleep with you. We didn't tell those black dudes to sit up there and be with you. And we didn't sit up there and tell you to select those ignorant types of dudes that you already knew that were detrimental and not good for you, that you decided to sit up there and lay down with at the end of the day. And like I said, I've seen some women who, beyond God telling them, like, yo, this is not the right dude for you, beyond their friends telling them, yo, this is not the right dude, beyond their girlfriends telling them, yo, this is not the right dude, beyond their family telling them, yo, this is not the right dude, beyond strangers telling them, yo, this is not the right dude, they will still sit up there and get into a relationship with that dude, beyond the whole world telling them, like, don't do it. They'll be like, no, I'm still gonna do it. Y'all just hating, y'all just mad because I'm happy, y'all just don't want me to be happy, y'all just jealous. And then they sit up there and end up with the boo-boo face, and they end up as a statistic. Ain't that something? But yet you stated that people were jealous, that people were envious, that people didn't want to see you shine, and people didn't want to see you happy. No, you was just stupid. And you knew you were stupid because you felt at the end of the day that this was the best that you could get, because that's how low you think of yourself. So like I said, that's a personal problem. That ain't my problem, and that ain't other black men's problems. That ain't had nothing to do with your situation between that adult and yourself being an adult, making those choices to sleep with each other. And then on top of that, like I said, when I happen to do videos talking about resources, class, businesses, land, like I said, I brought up brother Ben X too many times on my platform. And this brother right now, he's been talking about, like, yo, owning land, getting land, we're going to be building, doing this, doing that. And out of all of those years that he has been talking, he brought that into fruition. And they have, I think, like over what, like 200 plus 300, maybe like 600 acres of land that black people are sitting up there building on, getting established, working on at this moment in time, basically building their own town. But yet you got people like her just still talking. like, oh, but we need to talk about, like I said, if you are really about these topics and you really want solutions to these topics, you will seek out the people that give the solutions. And beyond just me even talking about it, I've seen a multitude of black men on a multitude of platforms talking about solutions, talking about financial literacy, talking about spending habits, talking about banking or becoming your own personalized bank, right? Talking about how to sit up there and, put things in order, right? How to reduce the trash so you can get the most out of life, right? Talking about happiness, talking about spirituality, talking about relationships, talking about love, talking about getting people out of your life, that are ineffective, that are not for you, that are seasonal. Like I said, there's tons of black men that have platforms that talk about this stuff. But like I said, you'll always have women, or quote unquote, I'm sorry, I got to generalize her, individuals like this who will decide that that's not what they want to focus on. They want to focus on it when they want to focus on it. Like I said before, she wanted to focus on making black men the main topic and the criminals. And now she want to focus on the black community.